So this is the most valuable case study video that I'm ever going to put out on this channel. This is how we took a fresh Klaviyo account with no deliverability, so terrible deliverability, for absolutely zero Klaviyo revenue to $31,000 a month and 43% of total store revenue from email in 47 days. So that is exactly what we did. Here is May, and let's get to it. So we could do April. So I just showed April here, April 1st to 30th. This is after we had sent a couple campaigns, but it's just a fresh shot of April to May. That is how the revenue looked. So let's get straight to it. So some brand context on this brand. They were using a random platform, email platform, for years. They'd used Klaviyo like 2 years ago, and they switched to this other one. I'd never heard of it, and I've heard of them all. So it was completely random. They were sending no email campaigns, maybe a couple times a year for like a sale or back in stock, but they weren't sending anything. They had 55,000 email contacts, but just no idea what to do with them. They were landing in the spam filter in like the flow emails, the couple flow emails that they had live, and just had terrible deliverability. They were sub 20% open rates and knew they were leaving a shit ton of revenue on the table when they reached out to us. So that is the context. So here's the process when we're taking over a new account and there's just no deliverability. Step one, get them on Klaviyo. It's the only option. If you're using anything else than Klaviyo, don't know what to say. Two, we need to warm up the IP address and the domain. So the thing is, when you use a Klaviyo sending domain, if you're just carrying your domain, if it's the same domain, so they were sending from the same root domain, but when you transfer to Klaviyo, you have a new IP address. And so you still need to warm that up and have a reputation in the eyes of like Google, Yahoo. You can't just immediately just pop up on the scene and send 50,000 emails in one day. That looks spammy. You need to warm it up and slowly build that up. And so that's what you have to do when you get somebody on Klaviyo. And then three, as we're warming things up, we want to ramp up campaigns and start sending to the whole list. So step one was just getting them set up on Klaviyo. Again, they were using just a random platform, and Klaviyo is the only real option for any sort of email management. So we brought them over to Klaviyo. It's a very straightforward process. You'll be able to do it no problem on your own. But essentially what you're doing is you just want to sign up on Klaviyo. Just create an account, go to klaviyo.com, and then connect it to your Shopify store, and then ensure that you have domain requirements and that they're set. So Klaviyo is going to help you determine if you do. You need like DKIM, DMARC, all SPF, all that good stuff. If you just look up Klaviyo domain requirements, you'll be able to figure it out. And then four, we needed to upload the list from the other platform into Klaviyo. So if you're transferring to Klaviyo, you need to upload all your list and then the data. So that was step one, and so that is what we did for them. Then step two was the warm up the IP/domain. So this is the hardest part of the process, and it's very nuanced. So kind of as I mentioned earlier, when you switch to Klaviyo, you're using a fresh IP address for your sending domain. You have no reputation with Google, Yahoo, and other inbox providers. If you have no reputation, then you'll just end up in the spam folder. So that's kind of the purpose. And so our domain would instantly get blacklisted and permanently marked as spam if we just blasted emails right out of the gate. So we don't want to do that. We want to slowly ramp up our sending volume. And then while we're sending up our volume, we need to get good engagement while we do it. If we send like 1,000 emails, then 2,000 emails, then 5,000, and slowly ramp it up, but nobody's opening those emails, it's not going to be worth anything because we're not proving anything. We're just proving we're spam because nobody's opening our emails. So that's the warm up the IP, what we need to do. So added problem. To make this even harder, we had no engagement data on past email users. So what you want to do when you're ramping up is get good engagement. That is you need to ramp up your content, ramp up your volume. So go from sending 500 emails a day to 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 to 3,000. And then while you're doing that, you need to get good engagement, because if we're getting 20% open rates, you just look spammy no matter how many emails you send. If only 1 in 5 people are opening them, that's a problem. And so when you're ramping up and choosing who you want to send to, you like to go off past engagement data and only send to people who are active in opening your emails. But that was our added problem. We had no engagement data on past email users. This other platform didn't give us any data. We didn't have open rates, click rates, or anything like that. So we had no idea what profiles were active in opening emails, who had clicked emails, all that. Nothing. So warm-up could be pretty straightforward if you had been actively sending emails on another platform and can like pinpoint what users are active in opening emails. Because if you did, you could theoretically just send to those engaged profiles as you warm up your domain and increase volume. So if you know you have a list of 10,000 people who were opening every single one of your emails, then you could start off with campaign 1, sending to 200 of them, then campaign 2, send to 500, campaign 3, send to 750, then ramp that up, and you know those people will be engaged and likely open the email. That's not the case here. We couldn't do that, so we had to get fancy. So this is the warm-up process, going a little bit more in depth. So this is what our strategy was for getting that warm-up when we had a difficult situation. So number one, we wanted to get the high engagement flows live that we know people will engage with. So get those flows that are high engaging, like the welcome flow. After somebody signs up, they're definitely going to check their email. So that's step one. And then like abandoned cart, abandoned browse, post-purchase, those are emails that people are more than likely going to interact with. And then number two, we want to find list segments that we think have a high likelihood of engagement. So we have no engagement data. We don't know if people are going to be opening or clicking emails. So we had to get fancy. So we're taking the data we had, such as purchase data, how soon somebody signed up to the email list, and just like building our list that way to try to like ramp up the volume. And then three, start sending 3 to 4 email campaigns per week to these small lists that we create in step two. Start by sending to a couple hundred people, and then every send, increase the size of about 25 to 50%, and slowly start opening up the list and continuing to like build our lists to have a little bit more people, and then just resend those future campaigns to the people who engaged with your prior ones. So that is the process from a wide lens. Step one of warm up, just to go over it, set live or high engagement flows. So people will engage with welcome emails if they sign up for your email list, and you have to open our email to get your discount code. They're going to open your email. Even if you're in spam, they're going to find you. So like welcome email, if you have abandoned browse, abandoned cart, and post-purchase emails, people will engage with those. If somebody was just on your site and you happen to email them 15 minutes later with a, hey, you left this item in your cart, they're going to engage with that. It's a high engaging email. So we wanted to build these out ASAP and set them live. People would be sure to engage with these emails, to open them, to click them, and boost our reputation. Plus, what's also nice about this in the warm-up process is that flows are triggered randomly, and people will flow through that at like low volume randomly. So it's not like we're blasting out thousands of emails at once and being like, send right away. That would raise red flags in the eyes of inbox providers. But if you look at like a cart abandon flow, somebody's going to abandon a cart at 7 a.m. and get the email. So there's one, and then another person's going to abandon it at 7:40. And so it's all throughout the time, like you're getting just like sending one at a time and just in batches. And so you're not being spammy in that you're sending a ton of emails at once. So that's why the high engaging flows is going to be very effective in warming up your domain. So this was just the first few days of flows live for this brand. With each open and click, we were boosting our credibility as an IP and domain. So when we got the welcome flow, first few days, 80 people, 53 of them opened, 66% open, 7.5% clicks, and then lots of people were placing order. So 80 delivered, and that's the engagement we're getting. Boom, we're earning credibility. 6 out of 10 people are opening this email, and a lot are clicking. Same as abandoned checkout. This email, 72% opens. Boom, we're getting a ton of reputation here. And then same as this one, 76% in the post-purchase. So right here, we're just constantly getting a steady stream of people engaging with our emails every day and boosting our credibility. So getting these flows live is the step one. And then step two of the warm-up is we need to define segments that we think have a high likelihood of engagement so that we can send campaigns and emails to them. So all the data we had was purchase data and old opens and click data from years ago, 2 years ago when they were on Klaviyo. So that's what we had to go off of. Obviously, if somebody was opening an email on Klaviyo 2 years ago, that's probably, you don't have much data on them and they're probably not interested anymore. So we had to adjust and alter a ton of random segments to find people who are most likely to open emails. These are like the metrics we use to gauge engagement. So placed order, so how many times have they placed order at the store, and then also like the recency of the placed orders. If somebody bought 14 days ago, we're going to add them to these lists, and because they're probably more likely to open. We have opened email, viewed products, active on site. If people are triggering all these different, like they're viewing items or they're active on site, we're just going to add them to our lists, even if we don't know if they're opening the email. So like here are like some random examples that we were adjusting the time frame. So at one point this was like 7 days. At one point it was like 1,000 days because we're trying to get people from years ago. So like opened email, opened all time, warming up list. So this is one, clicked email at least once over all time. So old profiles and then new profiles who were clicking they can receive. And so placed order and opened email at once over all time. We're just adjusting the time frame, so this number is always changing. So there was just a bunch of stuff we were doing, and we had to really get fancy, like placed order in the last X amount of days. 525 was the one that we landed on for the 15,000 list. Placed order greater than 1. So we're just adjusting and starting. We just set a goal for email 1, we want to send to 250 people. Email 2, we want to send to 500. Email 3, we want to send to 750. Email 4, we want to send to like 2,000. And then building lists this way to try to just reach those numbers. So that is what we had to do. So we created those segments and we had it all mapped out. So now step 3 is start sending campaigns to those people and ramp up the list size accordingly. So let's analyze what we did. Here's exactly what the results were and what the lists were. So if we look here, we can see the lists, placed order plus opened email at least once over all time. That's who we started with. Placed order plus opened email at least once over all time, and including potential purchasers and VIP customers. You can see how the lists change over time, and then anything that has like an X, we altered. And then you can look at open rates, click rates, and placed order rates. So first campaign, you can see it was not to a lot of people, 22% opens, but it had 1.8% clicks. Boom, earned credibility. And then you can see the next campaign, we sent it to more people, still getting good clicks. Sent it to more people, 296, 731, 1,000, 1,500. And you can see slowly these open rates are actually going up because we also have these flows running in the back end, improving our deliverability, and we're getting some engagement here, and we're sending at a good volume, so we're just proving that we're real and just slowly boosting our authority until we're getting to this point where we're sending to more new profiles. But look, now we're at 37% opens, and we're just adding these past people who were engaging before and then adding new people that we think could fit. And you can see like this email did $2,300 in revenue, which was pretty sweet early on. And you can go up even more. This is what we ended up doing for like the first couple days. Let's see, this was the first 3 weeks about. You can see we got to a point where we had 12 recipients buying on 2,000, and this was just like a bigger email that we sent to the list. And so that's what we did. You could see us just slowly ramping up and monitoring the opens and clicks, and then sending high engaging content when we did. So that's when we talk about email content. We were focused on only sending highly engaging stuff. We wanted to give the customer value and send good stuff so that if they do open it, they're going to continue to come back because they liked what they saw in the first email. So content like how to use stuff, tips for this, product features and facts, social proof, things that like we're giving value in some way, and we're giving good designs, we're having fun with the copy, just so we're getting a little bit of dopamine, so someone's much more likely to open an email next time they get a notification from us. So that's what we were doing. And step 4 was start opening up the list. Okay, so we've got a baseline of credibility. We're continuing to improve that, and we're continuing to open up the list. Step 4 is when we're really starting to open up the list. So let's just look at what we've been able to do since that point in that first screenshot that I showed you. You can see we started opening up even more, changing things, and then we ended up doing just 90-day engaged, anybody who had opened in the past. And let's look at the results. Let's look at the dates, May, all through May. And now we were at a point where 5,000 people are consistently opening our emails from absolutely nothing. 46% opens, 48, and then 30 when we open it up a little too aggressive, 31, 46, 57, 54, 51, and look at the click rates. That's continuing to boost us. We want to be above 1%. Then obviously you can see the revenue also start to like really stack up and climb. And then look even more as we go up, super high engagement. We're getting over 5K, 6K people consistently opening our emails, and there's actually over 30,000 people who are engaged. So over 30,000 people had opened or clicked an email. So that is how the exact ramp up process looked. And then you can even look June, in the past couple days, we got 11,000 people to open an email with a 60% open rate, 2.59% clicks, $1,490 on a non-discount email. And then we opened up this email to literally like the whole list, and we got 26% opens, but 15,000 people opened. So now we're going to only send to like these people. And so we're just slowly continuing to go up over time, and that is exactly where we are at now. So here we are today. Voila. You can see the engagement going up, 39% opens going up. We want to get that above 50. Average click rate over 2%. Placed order rate down a little, and revenue per recipient because we're sending to less engaged people. But here we are now, 43% of the total brand revenue coming from email marketing, 56% from flows, 43% from campaigns. And you can see the massive jump in the store revenue as well as a result. So really cool stuff. I wanted to share that. It's not as difficult as it may seem. Yes, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we're doing, like tinkering around with the list sizes and determining, should we add another 1,000 people to this or should we not? And then just gauging and going off feel. Truth is, the only way to know like how to do this is just by having experience and doing it a lot of times and seeing it and going off feel. So if you want me to do it for you, you can book a discovery call, and we can get that figured out for you and completely manage it, and hopefully get to that point where we're at 40% of total stored revenue. So Let me know if you have any questions. Happy to help. And yeah, I hope you got some value from this, and I'll see you in the next video.